Okay, so I'm not going to focus on the normal stuff in this video, but if you want those questions answered, I am going to run through them pretty quickly. Let's go. Welcome back to Making Everyday Magic. My name is Shauna. If you are new here, we're a homeschooling family of 4. We are in our 9th year of homeschooling, and I have a 4th grader and an 8th grader this year. Today, we are going to talk about Michael Clay Thompson, level 5, the first of the lens level, and also the, 6th level that we've used, because we've used all the way to this point over the 2 kids. So let's go. Before we go any further, guys, please scroll down, hit the big red subscribe button, turn on the bell for notifications, and give this video a thumbs up. As always, you can find me right down in the comments or over on Instagram at Making Everyday Magic. I will likely create a graphic for this because it's really kind of hard to explain. As I've said in the past, I do not use this prescribed because doing that really stresses me out. So there is that. Okay, so let's start with those common questions. Is it expensive? Yes. Is it worth it? Yes. It is billed to gifted and talented. Does that mean that everybody who uses it needs to be gifted and talented? No. Big proponent of you just meet them where they are. And that is how I feel about every piece of homeschooling curriculum that we pick up, whether it is on level or advanced or remedial. No, it's just where they are, and that's where they're meant to be, and that is what we are acquiring to suit their educational needs. It's a lot. It can be intimidating. It's a lot. It's like 15 books, but I break it down in a manner that works for me, as you should do for absolutely every single thing that you ever pay for. Make it work for you. You bought it. You paid for it. It's yours. You do what is going to work for you. If you're not finding success, it's a waste of money. So don't do that. Okay, the Michael Clay Thompson program is available exclusively through Royal Fireworks Press. I will give you a look into the books, and I will give you a look into the website here in just a minute, but let's talk about why I genuinely love this program. I genuinely love this program because it does take a different approach to writing. It makes it less formulaic. It stresses the importance of good quality writing that is going to carry them through the rest of life, college, science, whatever. And it also has an amazingly high quality vocabulary portion that goes with it. I like that we've studied poetics in regards to literature. I like that we've studied poetics at all. I like vocabulary. I like the literature suggestions. I do wish that at least one of the ones we'd encountered thus far was written by a woman. But that's my own personal, and my daughter's personal thing. I like that there's a lot of freedom to the writing, but I also like that they stress MLA standards. I really love that they give you, 15 things and say, use what works. Don't use all 15. You'll never get out of here. I just feel like it is such a refreshing approach in the style of the homeschool I aspire to be. And so for that reason, love. But also that high focus on vocabulary is going to come back around. I have an 8th grader. So we're talking SATs. We're talking ACTs. We are talking what is next. And so that really high quality vocabulary is, she can look at hard, big words, pick out the stems and deduce their meaning. And that I think is pretty awesome. I also feel like it's very manageable, which you wouldn't think that a complete language arts curriculum built for gifted and talented is manageable, but it genuinely is, at least in the manner I'm using it. I was drowning when I was using it as suggested, but I think with everything, they have to let you know how you should use it, because it is a really good idea to let people know, here's a box of 15 books, here's an idea of how to use them. I do wish that they continued with flashcards past Caesar's English Level 2, but that is just my personal preference. So I really love it. I love this level. Theoretically, we will have 2 more levels. There's only 7 levels, so that'll take us through 9th and 10th grade. And then theoretically, we're transitioning to something like a dual credit or something like that. So personally, I love it. I love this program. So let's pop over. I'll give you a look inside.
Okay, I am filming in a common space, and my kids are upstairs doing their laundry. So naturally, you are going to hear them screaming and chirping like a bird. I feel like you have kids, so there's no reason to further explain that. You get it. Okay. This is Michael Clay Thompson, level 5, lens level 1. Okay. This is language arts. It covers vocabulary, writing, grammar, literature, poetics, So much stuff, okay? Now, there are 100 different ways to get this package. You can get the full, the digital, half digital, just instructor, just student, yada, yada, yada. I order the complete homeschool package in color. Do we need color? Probably not. Do I like color? Yes, I do. When you order a complete homeschool level package, you get an implementation guide that tells you how to use it, which I don't use because I don't like the way they tell me to use it. And I know that because I've used it both ways. Okay? So I don't care for it. It goes week by week, page by page, yada by yada. I like this. It usually gets tucked away, and for whatever reason, I keep it and then send it on, because something that is important to know about the Michael Clay Thompson program, it is very expensive. But as you can see, you get like, I think every year is like $15 or something absurd. You get the instructor manuals, student manuals, the readers, the whole shebang. But they have incredibly high resale value. So I feel like that is very important to note. Now, something that I am doing is, or have done with my youngest one, because I hang on to everything. I have put these bracelets are driving me nuts. I have put these on a shelf. And then for my second one, I'm only purchasing what I feel like I need. And in the instructor manuals, there's this cool code right here where I can print practically anything that's consumable out of this book. So I will hang on to this book, even if it's written in, even if it's used, and then just reprint what I need for the next one, instead of having to feel like I should repurchase everything, okay? And then something else that I know is worth noting, and I know that people will question, is that we own practically all, now there's 2 more of these, okay? There's 2 more of these classic literatures, both of which are in some stage of being read. The other one is Time Machine, The Time Machine, and Christmas Carol. Both of them are in some stage of being read, so they are not located here. So is this one, but I'm reading this one, so I knew where to find it. And we own these books in a different format, but I always buy these as part of the set. And I do that because they will give you a little bit about the author and about its impact. And then it will do things that I absolutely love. And that is down here at the bottom of the page. First of all, I like the size of the print, things like that. Down here at the bottom of the page, it will define terms in case you don't know what they are, right on the page where they're used, which I think is really kind of great. Something else that it will do is it will take opportunities to highlight the way a sentence is used, the way a word is used. This, for example, is the cadence of the sentence, linking it to poetry. And that is what I think makes the Michael Clay Thompson program exceptionally standalone, for lack of a better term. This just talks about how long the sentence is and why it's that way and why it's okay. The Michael Clay Thompson program as a whole, in my experience, focuses on allowing your children to enjoy English, enjoy the grammar, enjoy the beauty of the words, the simplicity of writing. I like that it reinforces the 4-level sentence analysis in classic sentences. I love this approach to language arts. As you guys know, I've talked about this a lot. We don't push writing early. I want my kids to love it before I am forcing them to produce it. And Michael Clay Thompson doesn't say, your sentence has to have X, Y, Z. Your paragraph in an essay has to have 5 sentences. Your essay has to have 5 paragraphs. He doesn't make writing or the written word reduced to a formula. He says, a sentence can be, or a paragraph can be 1 sentence long if it delivers the message. And that's good enough. I like that we expand and explore classic literature, famous poems, I really love the approach of this program, the high emphasis and focus on Greek and Latin stems and how they apply to both English and Spanish, the intense vocabulary focus. It is such a unique way of teaching language arts, and I know that it is serving my children well. I love the 4-level sentence analysis. It is great. It is all just, it is so good. And it brings me great joy to be able to use it. I will show you their website. And I've probably in my intro already talked about the gifted and talented kind of label, which I don't love. But here right now, let's get a tiny look inside these books. And then we'll go from there. Okay, so where you start. And this, again, I don't use it like I'm supposed to. So if that ruffles your feathers, this ain't for you, babe. So this is where we start, okay? The magic lens is the grammar study. Now, the grammar study is spiral. We go over the same things. It is so weird to me. I have a 4th grader and an 8th grader, both using this program multiple levels apart. My youngest is in level 2. This is level 5, and we were talking about pronouns, and my big kid has gotten into subject, object, demonstrative, like all the different kinds of pronouns, okay? Possessive, whatever. And in talking about pronouns, it was a subject is a subject and an object is an object. And then I sat down to read with my 2nd grader who is doing a more surface level analysis of pronouns. And right there on the page, a subject is a subject and an object is an object. And so I love that we are cycling back through the same stems, through the same things to reinforce it over and over and over and over again. And it makes me so pleased and so happy. And each time we go a little deeper and each time we take off another layer of soil and it goes deeper. So start with, this is what we're doing. We read at leisure. I don't need to tell anybody that. You just do it. I love the bubbles. Oh, and something else that's really big deal for the Michael Clay Thompson approach is they give you everything. They give you every single thing you could ever want, every little single thing you could ever need. But they don't expect you to do it all, because even Michael Clay Thompson himself, written the words in this book, will tell you it is too much, it is terrible, why would you do that to yourself? That's too much. I like that because I am not a person who wants to do more for the sake of doing more. I don't think harder is better. And I just love it. It makes me so happy that that is the case. So we are tackling things. Now, I love in this level that the first 8 or 9 chapters of the magic lens correspond directly to the first few word lists of the word within a word. Now, something that I've noticed, because again, I'm studying multiple, levels at this point, the text on this page fills more of the page and the text in print is smaller than it is with my child in the level 2. So this will go over pronouns, types of speech, types of sentence, clauses, phrases, all of the things that you need to know, multiple level sentence analysis, taking the sentences at this stage from classic literature, which I think is really, really great. Covering participle phrases and things that I swear I didn't learn, but I have now gone back to learning, and also highlighting the proper use of punctuation when it comes to vocabulary, common misconceptions about when you should use good versus well, common grammar rules and errors. So I love it. I love it. I love it. And I love it. And as it should be, the instructor manual is thicker than the student book. And that is because, the instructors need more information. But right here, see multiple level sentence analysis. Now, if you're wondering what the 4-level sentence analysis is, you will start with the parts of speech. So Caesar is a noun. Then you'll go into the parts of sentence, subject, predicate. Then you'll go into, and they have them identify what kind of predicate, direct object, indirect object, subject, complement, the whole shebang. Spends a lot of time going over complement is different than complement. And I really kind of love that. 3rd level is phrases. And then the 4th level is clauses. Okay. So here is what we are doing. Reading at leisure, doing grammar. I'm making sure that our grammar is corresponding to the word lists in the word within a word. We are doing these simultaneously so that the word lists sync up. Now, this is the meatiest study of vocabulary that we have tackled to date. There are 30 lists. Okay, so that is the most we've ever had to do. Each list has like 20 or 30 words, and there are activities, there are what I really love, questions and mystery spellings, and then it's still, which is my favorite of all the vocabulary, it still goes into these deep thoughts with timelines and explanations of the Roman and Greek era of ancient times. And it's got these wonderful like pictures of statues and things like that, not in the instructor manual, because for the life of me, I do not understand why they will not give it to me in color. But look at this. Isn't this just beautiful? Now, it is so important that we are focusing on vocabulary, and it's going through things like analogies, right? So euphony is to cacophony as these are things that are going to set my current 8th grader up for so much success when it comes time for ACT and SAT prep. And that is my current focus, and I love it. Absolutely love it. And it's simple explanations like this. A hypodermic needle is appropriately named. It is a needle that goes under hypo, the skin, derm. Okay. So it is encouraging them to pick those things out. One of the things that I have, I don't know if it's in this book or just in the instructor manual, but here in the back are these really wonderful kind of like mystery questions. And I think it's a really fun way to kind of get those things covered. It is I gotta find it because it's so great. It is like questions that you're answering, but it's just like a yes, no. And it's on the tests. It is on the tests. But it is just like does this make sense? And would this be the right answer? And what do you think about that? And I just absolutely love the way that it tackles it. And why for the Christ of me can I not? Oh, here we go. Mystery questions. Can a hang glider fly at infrasonic speeds? And so it's just asking them to pick apart. They don't need to know the whole word, okay? It's asking them to take the stems and use the knowledge that they do have to critically think and decipher what they don't have. But it's going to put it within their grasp because you're focusing on those pieces, those building blocks. Okay, so that's the word within a word. It's amazing. And I really think I might have to, as we get into the year, deep dive each piece because it's getting so meaty and so good. And I feel like I could really make a whole video on each one. And we are 3 weeks in. So I gotta it's exciting and I love it. Okay, so reading at leisure, starting with grammar from the beginning of the year, starting with word within a word, which is vocabulary at the beginning of the year, because it is so meaty. 30 lists, I definitely need to start from the beginning of the year. Now, something else that I don't normally do from the beginning is writing, but writing is much meatier this year. So the way that I have taken this approach, they ask for 4 essays to be completed after you've done the reading. So what I decided to do is that we will take our year and divide it into 5 chunks. The first chunk being reading the information, and the remaining 4 chunks being devoted to each essay. And he's asking for like 3-page essays, not like 10-page essays, proper works cited, proper grammar, proper usage. And so that should give each essay about 5 weeks or so. So what we'll do is, we'll research heavy 1 week and then move into the various stages of writing an essay where they're not piled all into 1 week, but with time to go back and look at it and revise and things like that. So that is my plan. So right now we're doing all of this simultaneously, which seems like a lot, but somehow it just isn't. Somehow it is just gloriously fantastic. And talking about MLA standards and MLA handbook and what makes a great essay and why you should or shouldn't, do this or that with academic writing and proper punctuation. And I got to be honest with you, again, I say this every time, I learned so much from teaching my kids. So this much right here is chunk 1. And then we move into our advanced writing assignments, okay? Assignment 1, think like an academic writer about words, okay? So the first paper will be single source interpretation of fiction. Okay, and we've got, you must outline your paper before you write. Okay, so it breaks it down into those pieces. And it's really, really great. And I am excited to tackle this with her. I am excited to enjoy taking this on because I think it will be just really, really great to do together. And there's some punctuation quizzes back here. We don't always do all of the quizzes and things like that just because I don't feel like they're necessary. So here is what we are doing. One more time, we are doing, starting from the beginning of the year with grammar and vocabulary and writing. We're reading at leisure, okay? Now, once we finish our vocabulary study, which should be, I think, like 10 weeks into our year, once we finish vocabulary, we will transition to one practice sentence a day, okay? One practice sentence a day. It's that easy. It looks like this, okay? So it's that 4-level sentence analysis, which I love, and hers looks like that. Completely consumable, okay? So after we finish the grammar, we'll move into this, one sentence a day. We probably won't finish the book. I am at peace. No one cares. Okay, now, because we will be done with this grammar book in our first, semester, we will pick up poetry at the start of the second semester. Now, I always love the intense focus on poetry and the beauty of the word, and they always follow the same kind of structure as far as what we go over, right? So it's usually pattern, sound, meter, stanza, figures of speech, and it always goes over the same kind of thing. So we will just do, and as we're doing with everything else, just one chapter or one lesson a week, okay? And then we just move on to the next one. So this will start with our second semester. Okay, so we will be done with grammar, start with this. Okay, so just a really fast recap. If I think about it, I'll make a graphic, but reading at leisure, starting the year with writing and vocabulary and grammar. When we're done with grammar, we will continue with a sentence a day, and then second semester, do poetry. Okay, till everything's done. But I don't feel the need to complete everything, if that makes sense.
Hey, here is a very brief look at the Royal Fireworks Press website. If you want, I did intend to go deeper into some of the questions here on their site. However, if you're looking for that, because this video has gotten quite long already, out of necessity, I feel like. So if you're looking for that, look for my upcoming Michael Clay Thompson video review of level 2. That should be coming up immediate next week. And then we'll go a little bit deeper into that. Now, here it is, all of the different homeschool packages, all of the different ways that you can order Michael Clay Thompson products. You have the options. First of all, it goes through every level. They have a handy dandy chart that has hyperlinks in it where you can find every little bit or piece that you need to. It talks about the various levels and packages for homeschool students. I love that it does come with that implementation guide, even if the first thing I do is put it to the side and never touch it again. It's nice that they have that. I do wish that the color version had instructor manuals in color, but it is not necessary. Here, I'm going to click in and show you the homeschool package. If you just have a second student, you can get the books only package. Again, they have a ton of different ways that you can order this. And then you can also go through and order each individual book, which I do as I'm cycling back through and reusing the previous levels. But here you can see everything that is included in this package. It is free shipping when you do order the complete set, so that is really nice. So also, if I order a complete set for my older daughter, throwing in some books that were consumable for my younger daughter, that gets free shipping. So I think that's really nice. As you can see, everything's hyperlinked. Anything that you might need, here's some other things that you may like. You can get just the student guides. You can get them all ebooks for instructors, regular books for students, books for everybody. There are so many options. And then they've also expanded their offerings to include a few things we're going to talk about here in a minute. I like having everything, and people will be like, well, what can I skip? I don't love recommending that you can skip things because I feel like it is so valuable to have. If you were to skip anything, you could skip the student instructor or the student version of the practice book because it is consumable, and you could just copy those from somewhere else. Now, I'm going to show you, because they have expanded their offerings. They have online classes. If you're like, Shauna, this is great, but it is too much for me. That is really stressful. What if I told you you could have Michael Clay Thompson teach it himself to your student? That's right. Real class instruction, live instruction. It is not asynchronous, from Michael Clay Thompson himself. And you can sign up for this course. Now look at that cost. Okay, that cost does not include the books. You still have to get the books. Okay. However, I cannot think of anything that would be, if you needed to outsource, this is an amazing option to have it taught by the man himself. So consider that. If you're like, I need more than just the books, but I need less than a full live class, because the thought of commitment of that honestly just stresses me out. But if you need something more than just the books on your own, but you want something less than a full class you have to commit to every single week, they have video books where Michael Clay Thompson is teaching it, but it is essentially asynchronous learning. They're reading the books to you. It's in a digital format. It is online. So maybe you're distance-based learning. Maybe you're not located in the United States. Maybe your students just learn better on a screen. Maybe whatever. Here is how you can get what you need out of a book, out of this program, without having to do it exclusively yourself. And I think that is really an amazing offering. They really are expanding. They're really focusing on those other ways that students can learn best, making sure that they are hitting all of those different aspects of learning, because some of us are just better auditory learners. Some of us are better visual learners. Some of us need the hand-holding of a full, class setting. And some of us are going to be perfectly fine doing this on our own. There are so many options available to you through Royal Fireworks Press of the Michael Clay Thompson Language Arts program. Don't get discouraged. Again, the cost is high. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. It is an expensive thing. However, I feel like the value does justify the cost. And if you want to see any more in-depth explanation of MCT, check my other video coming soon. Well, guys, I hope that you found any of this helpful, entertaining, or informative. If you did, please scroll down, hit the big red subscribe button, turn on the bell for notifications, and give this video a thumbs up. If you have any questions at all, I'm super happy to answer them. I have an entire playlist here on the Michael Clay Thompson program, which now officially I will only not have level 6 and level 7 in there because we've used everything else. If you are curious, do your research. It is a lot of money. It is a big investment. They offer a ton of different packages that you can purchase. I did the full digital one time, regretted it. I will never do it again. If you have questions about if it's right for you, I'm happy to answer them for you if there's something I haven't already covered, but it's very likely in all of these videos that I already have. So reach out if you want to know anything else, and I will be help as I am able. Give it a look. It may be for you, it may not. Do a lot of research. It is a lot of investment. The value is incredibly high, and I am so thankful that we found it. Bye, guys.